Okay, so if you want to continue your conversation with the guy who you were talking with, you could do that, and then I guess if that has ended, then we could officially. Uh, yeah, no problem at all. Okay, so good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Everything Agriculture, wherever you are around the world. It's a pleasure having you here with us on Real Entertainment Network. We stream live on Twitch TV, on Facebook, and also on YouTube. And at this point, we are, encouraging folks to subscribe, like, and visit our YouTube platform and share it as well. As we're going to be more active in that space. We know that in recent times, Facebook is just allowing the videos to stay up for at least 30 days, but on YouTube you can always go back and look at past videos and older videos or any video of or any show that you specifically want to go back to, you're able to do that. So we want to encourage folks to go on over to YouTube, look for Real Entertainment Network. The show is aired simultaneously on Twitch TV, Facebook, and YouTube, but we're also encouraging many to subscribe to our YouTube platform because we will be more active in that space. Um, I I for me right now, Banky is not in as yet, or at least I'm not seeing him or have not heard him. But what we're gonna do, since we already have our guest seated in with us, I will probably get into a few little things and then probably buy a little time for Banky to get in so that he can do the official introduction. Um, as soon as if you have a call coming in, you can pause the mic if you want to, and you can accept the call, and then you can come back. So you can just click pause on the mic, and you deal with the call, and then you can come back. So, folks, yes, tonight we're gonna have some exclusive, an exclusive interview with Mr. Winston Welcome, and I guess we're gonna learn a bit more about what is it that he is going to be sharing with us on this platform this evening. For me, it's going to be a learning experience. Mr. Welcome, your mic is still open, so you can tap on it and close the mic. Uh, yeah, tap on the screen and pause the mic. Right. Okay. Yes. So now you did. Okay. All right. So in the meantime, folks, I must say that Nevis, lovely Nevis. I am presently on the rock, and I am actually getting an opportunity to delve into a lot of the mangoes, the guineps, the sugar apple. I mean, I just had sugar apple and Gibbs, this evening. Earlier on this morning for breakfast, I had a couple of Amory Polly, for breakfast. It's just lovely, and I'm sure that the folks who are trickling in, coming in for C51, are looking forward to being able to, eat a sauce up. I have one or two that is being, getting ready to be ripened. I gotta try and get them before the birds or the monkeys, sorry, get to them. But it's lovely. It's lovely to be able to have these tropical fruits and have them just picked directly from the tree, where there's little or if any loss of the very vital antioxidants and other vital nutrients that is sometimes lost as a result of being harvested and being stored. And the longer it's stored, the more of these valuable antioxidants and other valuable things that could only be gained when the product or the produce is as fresh as possible. And so, it's that good feeling to be able to be going to cook a pot, and you can go out in the garden and you can pick some chives, and you can pick some peppers, and you can pick some, okras, and you can pick some pumpkins, and you can dig up a one or two sweet potatoes. I mean, it's just things that we take for granted, in these parts of the world. And sometimes I really think that we do need to, really embrace our culture more, and be in a position to market and promote our culture and be proud of our culture as well. Because, sometimes it's only when you travel outside you get to appreciate a lot of the things that you take for granted. Because, like, for example, when I was in California, I remember, going to the stores and seeing certain fruits and certain veg that we're accustomed to and I'm accustomed to in the Caribbean, and know the conditions. But okay, let me go back a little bit. When I was in Canada, I remember the first time I went to a store and I saw breadfruit in the store, and I was like, really? I mean, these people are actually selling these things out here. These are things that we would feed to the pigs. We wouldn't look at a breadfruit like that and look to even give it to somebody as a gift, or give it to a neighbor as something that we would give to them. But I saw these bruised up black things, what I mean, like in the supermarket and in the stores. And I'm like, well, if people don't know any better, well, it's breadfruit. And don't talk about the mangoes. I mean, sometimes you go to the store. I mean, I vouch not to buy mangoes when I was out there. I tell myself, no, I'll have to wait until I get back to the Caribbean. I'm not gonna buy any mangoes. No, and I'm not sorry that I didn't. I mean, I tasted a couple of mangoes because I remember, one or two people would have bought mangoes and given me a chance to taste it. And I tasted just because I wanted to be able to have the experience to say, hey, I mean, yeah, I really need to taste a mango, Yeah, I really need to come to the Caribbean, come to Nevis and taste a real mango. And those are some of the things that, whilst out there, you really, and I mean, like, I had a breadfruit myself. I had breadfruit for dinner last evening, and I mean, that breadfruit was sweet. And to know it came out of my yard, it's a breadfruit that was planted by my pops, rest in peace, pops. But, that in itself was, even more encouraging for me, especially on the project that I'm seeking to engage right now, where I am seeking to plant 10,000 fruit trees by now on the end of the year. And so that's a project that I'm on, because the mindset is similar to what I'm thinking. My pops planted those, and now his grandchildren and great grandchildren would be able to eat from these fruit trees, these mango trees, these breadfruit trees, So it's, for me, it's not just about planting the tomato and the pumpkins and the cabbage and the broccoli and the cauliflower, but we need to focus on replanting a lot of these fruit trees, and especially some of them that are indigenous, so to speak, indigenous inverted commas, so to speak, to our islands. We need to get back some more of those mancipo trees, the bread nuts, the custard apple, the dog apple, the locust or stinking toe, the penny shash or Spanish ash, um, as it is known as. A lot more soursop, a lot more, you know, guinea and things that we just take for granted, and are being lost either by old age and they die out, or as a result of development where lands are cleared, and in some cases a lot of people don't have that level of consciousness to say, well, these plants have some sort of value. These food trees, some operators, machine operators, they just go in and push out everything, and as a result, sometimes we lose a lot of these trees that in some cases are, maybe 100 years old, 90 years old, 80 years old, and could have continued to be a part of, our food security issue that we are faced with. And so, it is a part of that meditation in terms of losing a lot of these trees, and also some lost by hurricanes, um, and floods and things like that, where tree fall because of maybe soil erosion and things like that. But it is imperative that we seek to make a conscious effort to replant the tamarinds and the other things that we're accustomed to have, the guavas. We need to have some serious guava walks, some where you can go and get these guavas and make your guava jam and so on, and guava cheese and things like that. you know yeah, I am, getting into a number of things as I think about some of the things that we could and should be doing, especially around this time where agriculture is concerned. I will hopefully wait until Banky gets in to get into some of these, uh, discussions. But we also have a guest, and I don't know how long we do have with that guest. And so I would want to, at this point in my um, presentation, give our guest an opportunity to introduce himself, and we will, eventually get into learning a little bit more about the guest, and some of what he have to share with us. And I guess as he does that, I will be able to take note and be able to probably ask some questions, or maybe interject at some point, and or wait until the end and ask some questions. So with that said, I would want to take this time now to introduce Mr. Welcome to the platform. So you can tap the screen and unmute your mic, Mr. Winston. Welcome, and you can talk to us and let us know a little bit about yourself and the intent for this evening. Mr. Welcome, are you there? Yeah, tap the screen again, and unmute the mic.
Okay.
Okay, right. Now we got you. Yes, yes, we got you live here, man. We are seeing you, so you're good. So you can just start the conversation. Let us know a little bit about.
Uh,
Well, first of all, yes.
Good evening to all the listeners. My name is Winston. Welcome. I'm pleased to be on this show live with Brother Yassan and Brother Banky. Um, First of all, I am in the United States right now, specifically New York, and I am a resident of St. Kitts and Nevis, not a citizen yet of the United States. I didn't have that intention right now. I saved myself for a situation where my injection is needed in my country, St. Kitts and Nevis, and thank God I'm alive. And as I listen to the problems in the federation, I am convicted to give my contribution in any shape or form so needed if it's deemed proper. So, if I may add, I am a former student of the Gingerland High School in Nevis, and that's where I finished school. I graduated, and I had a couple of times there, and then I migrated to the United States. So here is where I am, and it's time now for me to do what necessary I can do to help the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
So
Back
in,
to
in
you.
terms of what you can do, um, are are your intentions in the line of being a representative for, let's say, the next election, or
Absolutely, absolutely. I
so in this
yeah,
quest,
I'm listening.
in this quest, are you going to be aligned with any of the prominent political parties that are in existence, or are you seeking to be what would be considered an independent candidate?
Ab- Absolutely, I shall not align with any existing incumbent political party. Total 100% independent. But one thing I must say,
Mhm.
should the people give me that chance, I will work with any candidate that victoriously elected. It's the only way through. We all should get along. It doesn't matter whether you are a PAM, a Labour NRP, CCM, or independent. But I'm more on the quest for independence 100% in all constituencies, the 11 constituencies within the federation. And I must say, I'm tired of the repeated misfits and recycled politicians. So, strictly independent, I will align with, but like said, I will reiterate, I will work with anyone who victoriously, honestly win or won their seat in the upcoming federal elections.
Okay. I heard you just a moment ago mention that you attended the Gingerland Secondary School. So in your quest, would you be seeking to run on the Navy side, or you're looking to be more on the federal side of things?
Good question. First of all, I am a person like to attack. If I'm attacking, approaching the head of any organization, and I like to defeat the head because, in my view, if the head is defeated, the little that is underneath is no match, so to speak. So I am actually contesting in constituency 8 that begins from um, uh, what's that estate before Atlas, after Atlas, moving to Bastia side. I up to St. Peter's and whatever other constituency village included in that constituency. So I am set. My mind is set for 8, constituency 8, and I'm not going to change it. I think the weak link is number 8 to me. So that is where I place my hand and my feet.
So,
Back to you.
if my memory, if my information serves me correct, it would be the same seat that the prime minister is actually actively upholding at this point.
Absolutely, you are correct.
Okay, so and I am hearing from you just a moment ago that you're saying that seemingly that is a weak link, and that's the link,
Absolutely.
that's the seat.
It's no
Interesting.
match. It's no match. It's no match. Uh, in my view, it's no match for me. It's a walkthrough. But it all depends on the people. Because having heard and having not yet seen all the promises that was made and nothing has been delivered, we need someone to deliver. I mean, I'm not saying the projects that was introduced are not good, but nothing has been done. And somebody has to get it done. Okay? And I believe I'm the man to get it done, along with the help and the unity of the Federation in the constituency that is located. I am only one person as an independent, but it doesn't mean one person can run the country. We need all 11 constituencies, or the majority is 6. So if we get 6 seats, or if we get 3 seats, I don't know how much independents will be engaged in this next coming election. But it remains to be seen. But like I said, I'm focusing on number 8, and that's where I will go.
All right, so we have a contender here for number 8. Um,
That's
you
correct.
you said that I am kind of interested in that comment that seat seems to be the weak link, and hearing your confidence is even making me even more interested in following up this quest that you are on, because you said that this should be an easy walkthrough for you. This the level of confidence coming from you is very very powerful, and I'm loving that. And anybody, I guess, taking on this have given themselves the opportunity to represent the people. I think should have that level of confidence, and so I am very impressed that you do have that level of confidence. What Okay, you're running independent. Do you expect, if you said you would work with any whoever party that wins? Are you looking to, like the prime minister, get that opportunity to be the prime minister, or you would be happy or comfortable with just being a minister?
Well, that's a good question also. First of all, this is the way, in my view. Winston Welcome alone cannot run the Federation as an independent. But Winston Welcome, along with Victorians of whatever constituency they choose to run, will collaborate and work with the people and hope that we all can have a meeting of the minds, should needs be, because it's a it's a party that I will hope will come together in unity, and we all just have to work together to cater for the federation the people needs. And I'm talking about the infrastructure. And when I use the word infrastructure, it includes the people and what inside need to be done: construction, the vendors, the upkeeping of the federation for it to run smoothly, and with sympathy, empathy, and compassion, and dignity. And first of all, I should have mentioned my one party name is Dignity. And my motto is, my dignity is your dignity, and your dignity is mine. So we, not just I'm not speaking for me. I'm speaking that my words, my views, my idea will be adopted by anyone who are listening. Okay? And I'm not a money hunger. I only like to spend money when it's necessary. What does not belongs to me, I don't cater for. But what belongs to us, someone will have to give an account. Accountability and transparency.
Okay, so you said the name
That
of the party. I was gonna get to that. The name of the party is Dignity. And you said the motto. You said
I
the
am
motto is
My dignity is your dignity, and you are looking at dignity here. I have demonstrated my dignity to the people in New York area where I am. I'm in the Bronx, over into Connecticut. So I am between those two states. I mean, New Jersey is the next state, which is called a tri-state, or considered the diaspora.
okay.
But
So
really
if
and
you were
truly,
supposed to be, sorry, I was going
yeah,
to
I'm
ask
listening.
if you're supposed to be victorious, what area or ministry or ministries would you be looking to take under your wing and be very serious with? Because I know that there are many ministries and you're one man, yes, but I know in some cases we would see one minister have several ministries. What area or areas you think you would be most productive for St. Kitts and Nevis in being
Okay.
elected?
Because I believe in honesty and integrity, I will like to have control over our finances, and it shall be used in the way it should be. We honor the procurement as it's said to be, we respect it. Accountability, that's one thing. National security, and I'm strict about that. I never been a actual soldier, but I'm soldier prone. I'm willing to risk my life in any shape or form as long as it will be necessary and to the full extent. I'm just outlining a couple of things. Agriculture, I am very agriculturous. I am very agriculturous. But Winston alone cannot do it. Um, a gentleman like Banky, he seems to be professional in his craft. There will be some assignment to the citizens. I believe in food, sustainable subsistence farming, and actually, with my spectrum that I've seen out here in the United States, there is a way, and there shall be a way for our farmers when they produce in excess, they can have a market to channel their produce to, just like the United States, Haiti. They export a lot to the United States, Africa, and I'm talking like yams, breadfruit. You spoke about breadfruit, and breadfruit can be made into several products. I mean, I went into a supermarket just 3 weeks ago, and I see breadfruit flour. So our breadfruit can make our flour. Yam can make flour. So we have a lot of things that we take for granted. Insect kits could produce insect kits, but it just need the support to get this done in the right way. So we could be exporters and we could feed our country in any shape, anything to do with agriculture. So I fully, and I will put agriculture first because without food, you're gonna hungry, and when you're hungry, you're gonna be angry, and when you're angry, I don't know what you're gonna do until you do. So, and include the agriculture, water. Water is life. Cannot leave water. Anyone mention agriculture, automatically water is there. And we got to fix the water situation better moving forward in both St. Kitts and Nevis. I have experience with several, but I'm not a expert as others describe. I have a little of everything, and I'm the missing link that could link between any joint. So
Okay, so
that's
what I'm
just it.
gonna do now, what I'm gonna do, I am going to I realize Donkey has stepped in, so I'll give him an opportunity to introduce himself and give his opening remarks and so on, and then I guess if there is anything that he would want to direct to you after, I guess we could get into that and have the show continue. So I'll let Banky, global greetings, welcome to this edition of Everything Agriculture and the engagement we're having so far with Mr. Um, Winston, welcome.
Yes, and good evening,
Before
and good
you
evening. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Welcome.
no, before I said welcome, but I should say I am Winston Manners. I am Winston Welcome. I am Winston Welcome. I am Winston Manners. I am a Manners from Zion in Nevis. Nevis is at my heart. I grew up there, and for what I've seen when I got there, things not well, not well. It's like back in Stone Age, and I am not gonna sorry for what I said. Nevis need the TLC and the quality of life, and it's not. You may continue, my brother Banky.
Yes, good evening to those who listen, and good evening to our guest, Mr. Winston Welcome slash Manners. Yes, and good evening to you, and
That's
good evening
correct.
to those the viewing audience and listening audience, where and which medium, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch TV. And that is another Friday evening. We are into the festive season. Yesterday was the opening of Culturama, so you already have people coming in for the season. I mean, there's some debates, a lot of issue by talking that they're not feeling the issues and stuff like that. But later on, we can get into those discussions. Just want to say good evening to the folks in Oli and Layamiga. If you're first time listener, which is a traditional name for Saint Kitts and Nevis. Hopefully, one of these days we get it changed back to the traditional name, which is very important for for these things to happen. Good evening to the folks in neighboring islands, Sava, Statia, St. Martin, the US Virgin Islands, Namibia, also the folks over in Montserrat, Antigua and Barbuda, and the folks also in the Windward Islands, Dominica, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, and St. Lucia, also the folks in the diaspora, North America, from the Florida Keys straight up to Maine, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Texas, Chicago, New Jersey, and Boston, and also the folks over listening in Europe, England, folks over in Asia, and also the folks in Africa. Greatly appreciate you guys in Taiwan. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Plus, it's different time zones, so we really can appreciate you guys tuning in when it's way in the morning and later in the evening or early morning. So we can't take you guys for granted. So it shows that you have that interest when it comes to the environment and the agricultural sector and stuff like that. So this evening, our guest, Mr. As I said, Mr.
Winston.
Winston Welcome our Manners. You understand? So
Anyone.
he's an independent candidate. So we just having invited him to be a part of this show, agriculture show, so at least can have hear his views and what his intention if he once he win his seat and stuff like that. So, Mr. Welcome, I appreciate you taking the time out to be a part of this show. And we're just here about to just reasoning, and that's what the show is all about. We also take calls. So the telephone is 869-662-7196. This show is a two-way show where we're just not here speaking. The listener and viewing audience have a right to be a part of the show and then make it interesting and stuff like that. So what make you get involved? I'm not sure how far what question you have been posed to you by Yasan. So I'm not sure where to start. But what is the main reason and what are some of the issues you see underground why you feel like you want to take up this mantle and stuff like that? And then we can from there we continue some of the discussion.
First of all, my brother and sisters, I am here in the United States. I think it was a God sent move that was brewing for this opportunity that I am now channeling, traveling as a quest. I wasn't a political incline. I think I'm neutral. I wasn't a party liner. Shouldn't even mention that. I just care for the people. And I am a loving, caring person. I will endorse myself. And that's what I shall demonstrate to the people. The people need a leader that has dynamical thinking, decision making, with empathy. I put myself into your shoes and know how you feel, and I know how the people of the Federation of Uale and Laimiga feels at this moment. I am very let me just, I'm an observer of things. And I think I have good observations, and I've been actually feed with information. And also, mostly, I am a voice. I'm a voice that will stand up, whether it's death or life. I have no fear. But in God I trust. We are missing a lot of things, and I'm not taking it for granted. I am here in a country where I get medical. I never been hungry. I never been penniless. Not that I have all the monies that I need, but there are opportunities, and I must say, thanks to the surrounding area where I am, I do not fall into that predicament. But mind you, I know how the people feels, and the opportunity that I get here, I will hope that my people can get a taste of it, even better than me. I'm 58 years now. Well, consider 59. August 10th will be my birthday, which will make me 59. So I just want to pass on my knowledge and not take it to the grave without it become unknown. If I also may mention, our medical infrastructure need enhancement, upgrade. Our water system, mostly, especially in St. Kitts. I hear the cry in St. Kitts. I know I grew up in Nevis. We go to New River, down at that sugar mill to catch water to come back to Zion. I actually lived in Zion. So I know humble beginnings. Okay? And the humble beginnings that I came up in St. Kitts and Nevis, I can survive anywhere as long as I'm not physically damaged. So, my quest is to make the best better moving forward in any shape or form. And I will be the friendly representative to each and every federation, every citizen of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I don't want to be hiding. I don't want to be security prone. Let us live in peace and tranquility moving forward. I take it back to you, Brother Banky. Hello?
Yeah, I was asking what are some of the challenges on the ground that you see that people face that you see some of the main issues. I know you speak
First of
on
all,
the reason. Yes.
jobs, 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 jobs. Taxes, taxes, taxes. If I may go into taxes, I believe that the VAT, the value added tax, need to be done away with. Abolish, abandon, because taxes impact people's pocket. It depreciates your spending power. And imagine what you are You go out to work Monday to Friday, and the little that you make from your wages is not enough. And how to tackle that problem? If government can give an easement of taxes to the business sector who are paying the servant, whether it's civil servant or private servant of any company, if government were to ease that burden, there will be more money in the pockets of everyone, and there will be spending power. Remember this, a statement, a story: render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. All the monies belongs to the government. No matter what they do, the money will come back. So why not give the easement to the people, and the money will return, and people will be more productive, supportive, and more peace of mind. I believe in the healthcare. The healthcare system needs to be fixed. I believe next to nothing free healthcare. And the reason why I said this, the question I'm going to be asked: how these are going to be paid for? You see, we had a CBI, and the monies that came in from the CBI, where is it? Who has it? That could have offset several infrastructure projects in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. But I believe it's still there. It's there somewhere, and we shall find it. And it shall be found. That is the missing link. Is the burden of the people of the Federation. And the CBI would have been a perfect example to offset anything. It's billions of dollars came into St. Kitts and Nevis through that CBI, Citizen by Investment. But it has been grabbed by the ginnals, the money gluts, in the shape, in the introduction of projects that seems to be, shall be, will be underway, but they are nothing. And that's robbery. That is not an even exchange. So we got to get rid of these kleptocrats and bring in a new era of independence. I will hope it will be total independent, who has no dirt, no clouds, and do not think about adapting what we suffered in the past. A clean slate. And I'm calling for independence, 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 and independence.
So, which area are you planning? You're planning to run in?
I'm planning to run in constituency 8 in St. Kitts. I am actually from Molyneux.
That's from Cairn.
Yeah, it's a little beyond Cairn. It's between Otleys.
Constituency 8.
You say
you're from Molyneux, you said originally.
I was born in Molyneux, which is 7. That's Harris.
Okay, so why do you choose number 8? I mean, you can run anyway. That's fine, because it doesn't matter. You don't have to from the same area to run in the same area. So what make you choose number 8?
My rule of engagement: I always look for the weakest link and topple them. And number 8 to me is the weakest link. And number 8 has my challenge. It's not the strongest link, in my view. I don't know what others will say. But number 8 can't handle what is set forth ahead of him, in front of him, not even behind him. And I am challenging number 8. Number 8, Prime Minister Dr. Terence Jew, I am your challenger. I don't know who else will, but I am.
So what are your views when it comes to, I know right now in St. Kitts and Nevis, we speak a little bit. We'll speak a little bit of agriculture right now. The
Uh-huh.
food import bill is over $200 million. That's a lot of money going out into the country. So, what are your
And that,
views when it comes to the
first of
food
all,
import and yes, and
I grew up
agriculture itself?
I grew, I grew up in farming. My grandfather and down to my mother, my brothers, my cousins. We had to plan to eat. We had to plan to live. We didn't have the luxury of not even a can of beef, not even a sardine, so to speak. Mackerel, yes. Chicken back, yes. Fish, yes. So the new generation, I don't know. I don't know if I should say it's laziness, ignorance, because they have a other source to get things. But look how much it costs to bring these things in. Importation. So the agriculture is what we mostly have to emphasize and invest in, because our soil are fertile, very fertile, and there are enough lands, especially like the sugarcane plantation has gone, and I believe there should have been a set of lands for agriculture. Anyone who need to do agriculture, dive in. It is necessary. It's a necessity, and that will cut down on the import bill. And apart from what we could produce, like I said to Yasa, we can produce enough that we could import to other countries, like here in the United States. Because when I saw breadfruit also, when I saw a pumpkin, when I saw carrots, and I'm talking about natural from the ground, they came from Africa, Haiti, Dominica, and elsewhere. So just like their government channel a part for them for exporting their food, we can do it too, and that will put more money in the farmer pockets, and that will encourage the farmers to continue farm more because they have an income, they have a market. And in order for those to happen, our leaders have to be proactive. Proactive. Don't wait for them to come to you. You got to go to them and present a presentation in order to be successful. Effort plus energy equals success. I don't see that in none of our ministers. They like low
Mis-
food.
Okay, yeah. We had a call coming in. We have a caller coming in. Let me take this call, Mr. Welcome. Caller, good evening.
Yes, you
Everything
can.
Agriculture Show.
Okay, good evening. Good evening to you and the rest of the panel there and the listeners home and abroad. Firstly, let me get a small thing out of the way. Sorry for that little glitch. With us being on the air at a time, earlier than expected. And welcome to the guest there, Winston. Welcome. And he'll
Thank you,
be us
my
on
thank
the
you.
other side. Okay, let me get some of the little fundamental BS out of the way. I remember the guest states that he came from humble beginning, but prior to that, I heard him mention that he never was penniless or hungry. And I don't know if that was a spin or if I'm creating a light moment right now. Before we can eat the meal, do we get hungry at some point? And let me get past that. I just want to ask a couple of questions, if possible, man.
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Okay, firstly, we have seen recently that, we are becoming a state of complaints. A lot of people is complaining here, there, and everywhere. This is social media time. The gossip is even playing out on social media. But instead of complaining, sometimes we need the solutions. And I heard the guest say he's going up against the Prime Minister, number 8. And And before we could start maybe going on the negative side of things, I want to first ask the guests, this isn't kind of even light. Sometimes we don't want to give credit to the government per se. What, if any, issues or projects that has brought forth by this government that he can give the government some type of credit to? That's the first question out the box. And is there a project or projects on both islands? But I'm concentrating on federal. Let me concentrate on federal. Seeing that he says on the sinking side in number 8. Is there any projects that he can point to that he can say, well, it's a failure by the Prime Minister or the government on a whole, why he's trying to come in and see if he can make a difference for the Federation? That's 2 questions. Thirdly, on the whole, as a Federation of Sinkis and Nevis, what type of goals he got for the country, collectively as a whole, Sinkis and Nevis as a whole, what type of goals he got for the Federation, and what is he bringing different than the current proper politicians on the ground? And, and then let me ask one last question, directly back at him. I want him to directly tell the country what is his strengths, that he's bringing to the table. And I'll leave it there for now.
Appreciate it, Carl. Mr. Welcome, you understand the questions? I think about 5 questions.
Yes, yes, I know. I'm going to work from the last to first.
Yes.
Okay. Pertaining to my strength that I can bring to St. Kitts and Nevis, Walaya Limiga, I have experience with the solar. The solar is a simple thing. Whether it's private or whether it's a government base. But in the base of a government sponsoring solar, which should be an easement of the electricity to the people, because electricity rate is very high. And like they said, the dance can't pay for the hall. So if the income that the citizens make from their earnings, they got to sacrifice to pay almost all of that to sustain and maintain electricity. Also, the infrastructure, I am very constructional prone. I actually grew up doing land surveying in my first work career with a firm in St. Kitts called Elms Associate. I have experienced a lot of tasks, and I did well doing that. So we're talking about buildings. And right in St. Kitts and Nevis, we have good contractors. And I'm dealing local. I rather deal local first, and then, should needs be, if we cannot fulfill the local input, then probably we may have to go to other islands to find a good contractor. But let's stay in St. Kitts. We have what we need in St. Kitts. We got to use what we have first, and we deal with others after. So that's 2. In the strength of people, I believe in social programs. I believe like a program that was established in the Harris time, where you have the children gathering to learn things, they play music, they do all kind of things, which is done away with, diminish. And in the strength of water,
Which program you're speaking about with Harris that was done with teaching the children them to play music?
I think it was
what was that?
I think it was the Aspire program. I think it was. I
the
think
Aspire, and that
changed.
program is toward.
There was a program. There was a program where we had in Molineux, where the estate used to be. There was children gathering there, and there was a community center. It is now used as a school. Okay, I remember the children used to go there and play the orchestra and all that thing. All that thing. I
Which
personally know
which area you're talking about now? You mean presently? You mean?
in Molyneux. It used to be in Molyneux. Phillips
Y-
says
Yeah,
where the
but
estate used to be
and on the Timothy, you
on the
mean
high.
on the Timothy as the prime minister,
Yes,
as the prime
on
minister
yes,
in unity?
yeah, yes.
Okay,
And the youth
and that have been stopped.
that has been stopped. It has been stopped. I don't know if it has been continued because I left St. Kitts. During my time in St. Kitts, my visit, it was going on, and then I heard that it was
What year was that?
abandoned. If I was there in 2020, 2019, between
Okay,
2019 and 2023, between those, I can't give you a specific account.
so you're
But
talking about yeah. Go ahead.
I think it was done away with the Joe administration. I mean, also, we got to touch on the healthcare. Your health is your wealth, and we got to focus on immigration. I could touch on the immigration. For what is going on now with the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and other OECS countries, the leader of your country will make the people perish. That's my mantra. And my view is for what is going on now in St. Kitts and Nevis with this visa thing and this CBI thing, America has to protect its borders. And if we are not vetting people who buy our passport correctly, it will be a threat to America. And America has to protect itself. So, America, let me give a word to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. America does not have a problem with the people of St. Kitts, but they have a problem with our leaders because they had done mishaps all for the money. They sold the country to foreigners for money and they don't give a damn. Okay? And America and Europe don't like that. But we are to help. Now that we are in this squalor, what how are we gonna get ourselves out? Well, I believe in negotiating a good deal, a good treaty with the United States government and to free our people, even probably make it visa free to come to the United States. You could learn, you could go to college if you wish, you could get experience like how I did, and whatever else they choose to, and hope that they can go back home and contribute. I'm coming home to contribute. I can't mention everything tonight, but there are a ton of other things. I know our time span is an hour, I think. So all I can do is touch
Yes.
on. But real thing
Yes. And
is,
any question from Mr. Welcome?
I I am okay. Well, okay. Before we do that, somebody was adding to the comment, and they were saying the show was the program that Mr. Welcome spoke about was called The Explorers. They said they think the name
yes,
was
you are correct. The Explorer, and it changed to Aspire, I think. You are right.
the building. The building currently houses the primary school children at this
The
point. So I
primary
think
school.
that's just somebody interjecting that.
All right. We,
You
we
are, they
appreciate
are
that
correct.
that
Appreciate that.
information. Enough feedback.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Welcome, did you finish all the answers for the question was asked?
I answered about my link. I mentioned about solar. Um, could you repeat? I think there was two because it was four. I answered two. I could only summarize, like I said. Um, can you repeat in your recollection?
He asked what you didn't write them down because you had a pen there. But one of the question was, what is some of those things that you can call on what the government is doing that is good, and something that you see that they are doing that
Oh,
that is in not in your liking. So two of them, one that you see what the government is doing good, and one that you see that they are not doing right. So you can speak on those two.
Okay.
And what
I
and
haven't
the next one
seen.
is also and the third one it also is what make you different than any of the other politicians that are there right now.
Well, what make me different to any politician right now?
So those are
Everyone
the
will
three
say they
questions, huh?
honest.
The last three, those are the three questions. You remember the three questions? What
Yeah.
make you different than any of the other politician? Name one thing that good is the government is doing, and name one thing that is not in your favor that you said they're doing. So one good and one bad that you see, and what make you any different? Those three. Yes.
Uh, what I see the government has not done, they has not done anything. There were promises, and promises are comfort for fools. And the people of St. Kitts and Nevis has been made. Okay, there were monies introduced for projects, and they never complete. So as far as I'm concerned, those are abandoned. And I know all
Like
that
what
money has not come.
like which project you talking about that have more than been complete? Which project is that?
I like
Our
the
projects.
RLB, or I like the RLB Bracha Museum, the 2,400 houses that was introduced, uh, and also I am upset about the Staff Harbor situation, in the Southeast Peninsula. They are selling out our lands and chunks of lands without any transparency. They are not coming forth and explain to the Federation reason for this, why they did this, and what will be the outcome and the anticipation. So those are things I don't like. And I could only mention a few. But if I may say,
But
the Christoph
you
Harbour,
realize, right? You realize
uh-huh,
because of all this that comes up, the original which goes back as far the first label when it come to it under Denzel Douglas, and then under the team
absolutely.
Unity, all these different, and then under the present one now is like everybody just keep doing what they want, and when something leaks, everybody want to play do the blame game. You see what I mean?
Well,
You
let me
realize
let
that?
me
So
yes, yes, absolutely. And I may add this. I know, I know. Let me just mention the word Philip Martinez. Philip Martinez is honest and truthful. And if it wasn't for Philip Martinez, we would not have found out about the CBI and the Christoph Harbour moving forward. But it leaked. But it was a secret. And the deal was bad. There were bad deals made by Denzel Douglas. Okay? They sold out the Southeast Peninsula. We don't have gold. We haven't found gold or silver or diamond yet. But that deal did not went down well, and I believe it was a kickback. But they never thought about moving forward. What would be the future of the Southeast Peninsula and those properties, those lands that was sold out? I understand that the lands were private and they were acquired is the word, but it was eminent domain. Okay, and look at the income that coming in from Christoph Harbour and the marina. The deal did not set properly, and that gentleman, Buddy Darby, he's smart, and I can't blame him. But he pulled a 6 for a 9, and Douglas moving forward, jumping over to Harris, they didn't pay attention. Okay? And I believe those lands should have been for our local investors, just like Buddy Darby came in and do that investment. If money could have been available for our local people or a citizen of the Federation who live abroad, I'm pretty sure there were ideas that one could have grabbed of that opportunity too. But we're selling out our lands, and I feel our lands belongs to our natives. not foreigners. And if a foreigner need our land to do whatever business, lease them. But don't sell us out. Our forefathers fought too hard for those lands, and we should be reaping the benefits. And we are not. We are like slaves in our own country. We are second class, and we are calculated as nothing. We're not supposed to make nothing. Money should not be in our hands, but we must be slaves, work for the rest of our life, and die without honor.
You mentioned that you're from Nevis, and the last year in Nevis, Nevis is like Stone Age. Can you expound some more on that? 'Cause I'm trying to understand exactly where that, from which perspective you're speaking on.
Let me jump and I wasn't born in Nevis. I'm born in St. Kitts, but I grew up in Nevis. I will say 50-50. And I consider myself a liaison, the go between St. Kitts and Nevis. And I'm not taken from what anyone said. I visit Fountain, Mount Lily, go around the islands, the intermediates of the island, and it's the same old, same old. Just how I left Nevis, just how Nevis is. Yes, there are houses, there are more houses because whatever structures were erected in Nevis and also St. Kitts, at the end of the day, they have to pay their mortgage, so nothing was free. And where and how hard they get that money from to keep a roof over their head. And what is government doing with the money to fix the infrastructure? It is government responsibility. And Nevis need to be fixed. Infrastructure, a whole uplift. Okay? And that drop on Mark Brantley. Okay? A plenty money is passed through Mark Brantley hands. And what did he do with the money? It remains to be told. That is if it will be told. And look what they are doing now. And I'm calling for Mark Brantley to go. And you all have to get rid of him. And I mean it. You all, the people of Nevis have to wake up and stop let these vampires suck their blood. Their blood has been sucked. And what else they have in their body when all their blood sick? They're going to drop dead, in debt. And now ready to drag the lands from under your feet. Not the carpet, the lands. I'm warning the Nevis people. Whatever time is due and whatever time is short and what's the duration of time, not a return for these people. They are all kleptocrats and vampires. And as the Jamaican will say, ginners. Their pocket has been lined and they continue lining it. I don't know how they're going to be able to toggle it. When God call a man and when God give you a sickness, the money cannot pay. And when God said, give me my life, ask him how much it costs to continue your life.
Beautiful.
So,
Yes, son, any question before Mr. Welcome put in his closing statement and stuff like that?
Well, I am just, it's more of a comment than a question.
Let me take this. You have a next call. You have a call coming in. Let me take this call before you. Caller, good evening. Everything Agriculture Show.
Yeah, good evening again, man. I just wanted to get back in and keep the dialogue going. I did hear the guest mention Mark Brantley's name. Me, myself, have called for him to, either resign or for the people them to remove him next time. I've done that publicly last night for the first time. And, I have a big brother that I talk to every day, and he likes to tell me about the details and the specifics. So can I get the guest to point to any specifics you think Mark Brantley might be a failure and he should be removed? That's number one. Number two, what advice do you have for Banky himself, as Banky has also thrown his ring in his hat in the ring as an independent? What advice you want to give to your fellow independent? And the hot topics right now on the table, I'm going to go general. I'm going to go general right now. The hot topics are the failure at Indian Castle. There's a situation going on up at Hamilton Estate where foreigners is now in there having access to that property, and they're planning to do some investment kind of work there, museum, and we noticed that the property is being surrounded by stone walls, like as if they're planning to shut up the locals. And yeah, you did mention about the Crystal Harbor, and then we're looking at the fair share between St. Kitts and Nevis, which is, like, to me, is the most recent hot topic right now. The fact that the fair share report has now came in from the World Bank, and we cannot get these two leaders, the Premier and the Prime Minister, to bring that document to the public. So as I went general, and last but not least, we cannot forget the medical marijuana rollout, because we have two experts on this panel tonight in that area. And I just want him to maybe see before he gets off if he can touch any one of those issues real quickly, generally, and then we leave it there for the night. And thanks a lot, man. Thanks for you, Banky, and Yasan bringing on the guests, and thank you for the guests being on tonight. And I really want to wish all of you the best going forward in your endeavors. And we'll leave it there for the night, man. And you guys have a good night. Thanks a lot.
Respect. Okay.
Thank you.
Yasan, any question here from Mr. Welcome? And then Mr. Welcome, you use all those questions in your wrap-up one time. Okay? You just incorporate everything.
Okay, it wasn't.
Yasan?
I guess I didn't realize that it was a time limit, but it wasn't really so much a question. It was more of a comment and observation, as I realized that he is going to be running as an independent candidate, and you are going to be running as an independent candidate yourself on Nevis, and it's kind of interesting to have both of you here on the platform. And as I listen to Mr. Welcome's utterances, a lot of his utterances are very much aligned with some of your utterances on the Nevis side of things. And so it's quite interesting listening to the comments, and I really would look forward to having another opportunity to engage with Mr. Welcome a little bit more. I kind of just wanted to give him the opportunity to express himself and kind of give, some of the things that he planned to do, or he would like to do, or he would be, looking forward to do if elected. And I think you would have gotten through a number of things and a number of questions, and I would love to hear the responses to the questions that were asked. And like I said, I look forward to further engagement so we can delve into some other deeper things on the next go around.
All right, Mr. Welcome.
Yes. Fellow citizens of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, our country is in a downward spiral situation. In order for it to enhance, we have to work together, unite, and cry for the necessities. Just like when you go in your kitchen, you open your fridge. What would I eat today? Is there anything there to eat? Whatever the question is. My goal is to make sure the necessities that you so craving for, to make that happen. Whether it's job, whether it is money to sustain yourself, whether it is a university, an opportunity, whether it's a visa to travel far and near, my goal is to try to make it as easy as possible through proactiveness, through honesty, and diligent, and done it diligently, and with discipline And the rule of engagement, I'm asking for the chance to work for you and the dignity and with the dignity that you were born with, to restore it, and you shall be honorable moving forward. And last but not least, with the agricultural sector, we shall focus on the agriculture. It is self-resilient. We don't have to go to importation. We could knock down that bill to as less as possible. Agricultural experts like Brother Banky, I will trust him. We should trust him, and there are many more Bankies to make this done. And we will be a resilient country who will sustain itself and take care of all our needs. But leadership matters. Leadership matters. You have to have a leader who have you in mind and be mindful of you. I arrest my oration there until another time. There are more to come.
All right. Thank you very much. And as you made your closing statement here, I will take a minute to go into some of the comments and see if there's anything that um, you may need to address. It says, okay, the guest is right. We shouldn't be selling no foreigner our land. Lease the land, I keep saying, we will become strangers in our own land if we are not careful. Gigi Williams also says our government in Nevis is trying to sell 1/6 of Nevis to a crypto king. Yes, he needs to go, otherwise we won't have much of Nevis left. Yes, to agriculture. It is time we stop importing food that can be grown in Nevis. And so you are so far getting a lot of positive reviews from the folks who are logged in, and I think there are a lot of people who are in agreement. And I am really loving the fact that I'm seeing um, independent candidates stepping up. It's something, I would say, a breath of fresh air, so to speak, in terms of looking at what has been happening over the past few years. We do also see the rise of another party also on St. Kitts in more recent times, and so it speaks to the fact that obviously a lot of people are disgusted and not necessarily happy with the way things are and probably have been happening over the past years. And this might just be the time for people to be making such decisions where they look at the alternatives and not necessarily continue to just follow the party the parents used to follow or the grandparents, or just to hold on to party for the name of the party's sake and so on. That we would have more people who are, really standing up, speaking out, and looking to do their own research and come to their own conclusions. And it is only until we have such that we would, really begin to shift from this, two-party um,
Party line.
cycle that we do have in the federation as it exists. We have another comment saying, thanks, Mr. Welcome. We need more people to stand up. So, like I'm saying, the people who are listening are actually in agreement with a lot of the things that are being said. And so, it is also, to me, a good look for you who is seeking to put yourself up. And I would want to encourage you to continue to speak up, speak out, and set yourself and organize yourself. You and Banky, because Banky also is presenting himself on the Nevis end as the representative in the Charlestown area for the next coming election. And so, in the not too distant future as well, we would have to have a similar interview with
Me.
Banky himself, where he would have to be able to answer some of these same questions that are being brought to you. And so we would also be hearing from him and also hearing the feedback from the people who are going to be exposed to the interview and the questions and some of the things that he plans to do. So in the next interview, I would look forward to hearing some of the plans and proposals, so to speak. If you get elected, what is it that you plan to do, and how much you think you can do, being an independent candidate, knowing that as an independent candidate, even though you may win your seat, if maybe you're not necessarily aligned with a party or the winning party, um, there still might be a lot of limitations where that may be concerned.
I have a point of information. My views flow, and I'm getting warmed up. And let me just add this in, if you may permit me. Like I said, all the Victorians of this federal election, whether you're PAM, Labour, NRP, or independent, we don't know what will be the final verdict. I will be the link to work with you all, but I don't stand for nonsense. And my quest of the due diligence to the people of the Federation House, if any of the candidates fall out of a line, which I know comes around dignity for the people, I will ruffle their feathers. So if I have to cross over boundaries to ruffle feathers, I shall. The other thing is, it is treasonous, domestic treason, to buy vote and to sell votes. And I'm asking the people of St. Kitts, go to your heart, listen to your representative or the representative claim they will like to represent you. Do not take bribes. It is treasonous. Do not give vote for money or money for vote. If such offers were to made to you, take the money and vote from your heart. Okay? Because obviously, those monies that are offered to you for a vote is CBI money. There are enough CBI money to sponsor and buy votes. To whom it may concern, have CBI money, wait for these times to flood the zone with money. Do not take that bribe, because that will be the quickest evaporation of what you get to give a vote, and you will not happy. Not happy. Give your vote, and money will come after, honestly. Thank you for hearing me once again.
Definitely want to thank you for your time. You could have been doing, many other things this evening. It's a Friday, start of a weekend and all that, but you've committed yourself to being here on the platform with us on another edition of Everything Agriculture, and to present your position and give the general public an opportunity to hear you and hear some of the things that you plan to do for them if they give you that opportunity to represent them. And we look forward to another opportunity sometime in the not too distant future to have you back on the platform to engage in further discussions and to answer to more questions and interact with the callers and our folks on the platform who sometimes present some questions. But so far this evening, it seemed as if your presentation was so well received that most of the comments that we saw on the platform were in agreement with the things that you were saying. And so it is pretty good, and it's a good look, as the young people would say. It's a good look. And I look, like I said, I look forward to hearing from you again in the not too distant future. I wish you all the best. To continue your campaign.
I appreciate that warm invitation, and It is my journey. I don't plan things, but things fall into place. And God is great and in whom I trust. So anytime you need an interview, an invitation, I'm all ears, ready and available. No time has lost on my grounds. It was well done. I appreciate, and to the people of the Federation of St. Kitts again, may God bless each and every one of you to the full extent and continue, because there is a God, a loving, faithful, humble, and honest God. Bye for now.
All right. Yeah, so let me say thanks to Mr. Welcome for being a part of the show. Appreciate him taking the time out, and hopefully I'll get in contact with him where we can continue a second discussion as time passes. So Mr. Welcome, appreciate you coming on the show, and thanks for taking the invitation. We greatly appreciate it. All right, you can just exit the screen, and Yason will, and then we continue the part 2. All right, appreciate it. So,
Thank you.
folks, that was Mr. Winston Welcome, a new independent candidate putting up himself to be in the next coming federal election. So, Yason, it's the end of the month, and so we usually talk cannabis along with general agriculture. It seemed like we still have issues where Wednesday, where people lost trees, cannabis trees have been taken up over in Brickland area and that side of the country this week, Wednesday, and this is right up into the festive season where, the music festival just went the other day, and they was allowed to have five joints and stuff like that. So this is what we keep talking about with Jeffrey Hanley and the Minister Eric Evelyn when it comes to the freedom of religion and freedom of privacy and all this, and the 6 trees. There's nothing in place, not even a farm for Mr. Jeff in the office of the ecclesiastic. So you see the real confusion at how. So why would police be going around taking up people trees and stuff like that? This thing should not be happening. It's really sad.
Well, Banky, it shouldn't be happening. But one of the things that I am having a difficulty with, to some extent, is why aren't those who are being affected and who stand
Coming
the risk
forward, yes.
of being affected, not speaking out and calling out these guys and urging them to do what is absolutely necessary, in the sense of calling for a moratorium. If this is the seriousness of what is happening right now, here is it that the government would have went ahead and went into the House of Parliament and made some adjustment to the laws that have been gazetted. It's on the books. However, they have then failed in their efforts of putting the regulations together. That is not our fault. We shouldn't have to suffer now. You were forced to some extent, by the case that was brought to the government. Well, it was, I think, Maccabee Lion
Yes.
against it was the Attorney General or the Chief of Police, whoever it was. At the end of that case, they had 90 days in which they had to take some actions. When it got close to those 90 days, they did take actions. Those actions were mainly in relation to, because Sankofa's case wasn't about medical cannabis. Sankofa's case was in relation to personal or private use and spiritual or religious use of cannabis. And those two areas are the areas that are most important to the average individuals on St. Kitts and Nevis. And those two areas are placed under the Ministry of Ecclesiastic Affairs, whose head happens to be the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley, who we have never heard at any point in this movement going towards cannabis any utterances from the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley in relation to cannabis. And I'm sure maybe folks who are listening to us right now would be kind of surprised that the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley has that under his portfolio. And I've heard several interviews, and even when he's on these round table or whatever press conferences and so on, I've never heard anybody question him in relation to these things. And he needs to be questioned. He needs to be put on the spot to tell us what he is doing with the money that he's being paid, because it is on his portfolio. He is being
Yes,
paid
son.
this issue.
With stuff like these, we should not. This is just have call for removal, because this is just like Eric Evelyn. This don't have time to be pressing people. When it's your duty to put this thing in place. When I went to I call the office, all the council did not even have a farm. They just didn't have a meeting yet. Yes, so this makes sense. I mean, come on, these things just ask for a removal. It's just simple as that. I mean, this is not time to be playing with the citizens. As you said,
Banky, hear me out, Banky. I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, there is a process for the removal, and the process for the removal would involve these same people who I'm talking about not speaking up and speaking out, to speak up and speak out and take actions. Until that, because we know how to remove the elected officials. It's either you're going to vote them out or you're going to have a vote of no confidence. And for you to get a vote of no confidence, you would have to have the people agitating and complaining to their various constituency member, whoever representative, that they're having problems. And then that representative now will have to go to the house and say, well, hey, the people don't have confidence in you or this anymore. So those are the actions that have to be taken. So it is easy to say, yeah, they need to be removed. But at the same time, we have to be able to get our people to understand that they need to take action, because at the end of the day, the politicians too would only act based upon that sort of reaction. Because if only me and you, Banky, talking about it, the man will say,
it's not just 5 of us. There are people who are fed up and really want both of them and even the whole cabinet, both in Singits and Nevis, out. So these things will happen.
I hear you. Listen to me. I hear you. I remember before the Sankofa case, because what we got to understand, is the Sankofa case was the clincher that forced the government. The government is not the people who wasn't agitating, Watch, I remember when I think that was just before the CARICOM came in to do whatever final research and so on, St. and Nevis. I remember there was a march on St. Kitts where the Rastafari community came together and they were rallying to free the herb and so on. And you know what was the pushback from the Prime Minister then, who was the Honorable Timothy Harris? Oh, it was only 80 of them around making noise. And what you all have to understand, these people see things from a voter's perspective. So when they only see 80 people marching, they break up the 80 people between the 8 constituency. And so, okay, only
but yes, son, but that don't hold water, because even if you see 80 people marching, that doesn't mean there are hundreds. Because you live in an environment where people are victimized. So even yes, you see 80 people, but that doesn't mean you can't. You see, I say this thing: you don't know who used herb, You don't know who used herb, but I understand that point of view.
I hear what you're saying, but how they view it by the numbers. It's the numbers they're watching.
Yeah, but look where he at. Look where he at by saying that. That's the whole point.
No.
So
Here's what I'm saying.
Look where he at.
Here's what I'm saying, Banky. That could have continued. What changed that was the fact that two things. One, the CARICOM recommendations, and two, Sankofa Lion case. Because even though they had the CARICOM recommendations, it is obvious that there's CARICOM don't on a teeth. So even though CARICOM make recommendations, it is not mandatory that they follow it or have a set time to follow it. What forced the government to actually take some action? And this is what we got to understand, that it wasn't action that they really want to take. And it is obvious by seeing what the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley is doing and what Eric Evelyn is doing on Nevis, that is not something that they're really interested in or something that they want to do, but they were forced to do. And the various things were placed in their portfolio. What I am saying right now is that at this point, whether they want to accept it or not, or whether they like it or not. They are being paid by us, the taxpayers, to address it. And the fact that they are not coming forward to address it means that they are stealing from the people, because they are being paid to address a situation that they are blatantly not addressing, and at the same time, we the people sitting back and not saying anything. And like I said, it's only me and you. And if it's only me and you speaking up and speaking out, in their view, they're going to see, because yes, we know that many behind not speaking because they're afraid of being victimized, and they're afraid people know that they're associated with it, and all of these fears that they have. But at the same time, if these same people who have these fears don't get up and come out and speak out, the actions from them is going to be the same, because they only look at the numbers. In their mind, the only thing going to change them, if they see 400, 500 people, you know what they see? 400, 500 people, 400, 500 votes. That's how they see it. They see votes. When they see the numbers, they see votes. They don't just see the people. And so we, the people, have to be able to understand the psyche of these people who are at the helm, and then we have to take the necessary actions. Otherwise, there won't be the reactions that we expect. You can look at it. It's over 2 years now, Banky. It's 2019, Sankofa case was 18 or 19. And since then, the laws have changed. So they're supposed to be acting in according to, but they are not. And part of the reason why these things are continuing is because none of us are speaking out. So in their view, man, the people, it's okay to do it because nobody really making a noise, nobody really saying nothing, nobody doing nothing. So we could continue, just don't bother with it. And that is what we're experiencing.
No, you see, what they are doing is breaking the law, that the ruling that the judge passed on, because they were supposed to have discussion and come to a neutral ground when it comes to the amount of trees and all this different stuff. They're just doing what they want and getting away with it. So if these things, as Sankofa said, they'll have to go back to the court. And them say, if you have to do what you have to, because you see, when people trample on your rights, and I keep saying, our people is not those who is not the foreigners now. It's our own people, our own people turning the foreigners and using the enslavement against their own people. That is our biggest problem right now. You see, so this thing is just openly plain to see. It's just like the Hamilton estate up there. This is cultural. This is our festive season. Next week, Friday, will be the first Emancipation Day, right? That's what next week Friday is supposed to bring, the first. So what would the cabinet come forward to tell when they go to the Christina disaster to speak at the Christina and our ancestors who we have lost, which is still us? When you ever hear anybody talk about anyone apart from me coming here speaking about the Hamilton Sugar Estate? To museum with machineries that you can see. You want to wonder how the hell they get the machine inside there, how they get them thing they build, how we build them. The technology that they have, everything precise. And we're going to give away this sugar mill, this state, to some foreigner, we call the Bantu language in Swahili, Wazungu, or Wazunga. You understand? These are wrong. You understand? These things should not be happening. You don't hear the Ministry of Tourism, the Tourism Authority, the Conservation Society, the Minister of Culture, which is Eric Evelyn, the Premier. So what this be? Something going on, a secret, something secret. Your friends, these are who going to be teaching, going to be giving tools to our generation and speak about what their ancestors used to do within the 14 and 1500s up until the 1700s. Gone. This thing make any sense to? Only me one. I must just keep quiet then. Stop talk. I just hush me more.
Well, maybe because what have been happening over the years is the fact that lack of consultation, no consultation has become the norm. No accountability has become the norm. And so now when people like me and you speak up for accountability, or ask for accountability, or ask to be consulted before you even attempt to do some of these things, you are seen to be the bad guy and being problematic and being told to ignore the noise and all of these things because you are asking for what should be the norm, but has changed.
So why so much discussion went around the bad stream Why so much? Well, how come Madden's the one of why Madden's is fixed up and is not given away? So I expect Madden's to be given away to some white person or foreigner the same way to be taken over and build a coffee shop and vanilla coffee and all this nonsense. I'm asking for these people, these foreigners, these Wazunga, they understand the language because they know what's going on. To give back whatever money have been spent to the taxpayers of Nevis will refund you. The treasury, the government have to because they will pay for these things, you know. Our people will pay for these things, yes, son.
Monkey,
Okay.
is we people give them. Is we people give them. So me can may really totally agree with you. Is we people give them.
You don't have to agree on my opinion. That is fine, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to speak because I'm not going to be a silent person. That is fine. Nobody have to agree with me. You know.
I hear you. It's not that I disagree with what you are asking for. You know, here's what I am sharing is the viewpoint that these people didn't just come here and take up these things. You know, they were given by our people who look like me and you, the same people who look like me and you, and who come from the same little.
Fine, yes, but look at this. Look at this. I live here. I go into Antigua. I go into Montserrat as a foreigner, and I want to take over their historical places. What I mean? Well, that's a sick mind frame to have, because those environment have to it belongs to the Conservation and Tourism Authority. That these things should be a native or local treasure. You see what I mean? So for all people to entertain this kind of conversation, it means they have some sick mind frame. And for somebody to ask this who want to take over those kind of those estate, there are sick mind frame too. So greed fall within that realm because they already have 6 acres of agriculture up in the mountain. You know, 6 acres and paper. You got 1 acre land up in the mountain around Nevis. In writing. No.
When you look at
road here can't have that.
When you look at the list of concessions that's given to quote unquote foreign investors, and you compare with what is given to a small business owner, a similar local investor, and you see apples and oranges, and you see where the mindset of those people who we are talking about, who you say have sick mentality, have to have a sick mentality to be able to want to do these kind of things. And that is what we see happening in Banky. I mean, it's sometimes a sad reality where the reality is you want to do a project, and because it is you, and they say, oh, who he, the little boy from Fountain, I know he go up, and you might have to rent a guy with a briefcase and who have a different hue, and they would give the same guy the same things and even more than what you were asking for. And it's a sad reality that we have to deal with. But it is what I am saying now. And that's why part of my quest over the, maybe said in the past year or two, is to not necessarily pressure myself with these politicians, these characters, so to speak, because they are fully conscious of what they are doing. It's a game and they are playing their part. My mission right now is to seek to empower our people, the masses, to be able to effectively play their part as well. Because if they don't, then like you're saying, maybe we might just have to continue talking or just shut up. Because the reality is, if we don't unite, if we don't come together and address issues.
So there are people within your class, our age, who see these things happening, who have their grammar is working fine. So they're not better. Your family,
okay.
They're not better. That what you tell me?
Let's go back to the cannabis topic. Let's go back to the cannabis topic. Sankofa case was what 2019? Somewhere there about. Maybe I think it's there about. Somewhere there about 2019, 2020, 2020, somewhere there. I think it was before I left St. Kitts. Anyway, since then, and since the government would have made the changes in the laws, and since the government would have placed medicinal cannabis under the umbrella of the Ministry of Agriculture, in Nevis, have you heard or seen any set of people march, say they're going to march up to Mr. Eric Evelyn office to demand that they get some sort of response or answer because you are given a ministry, a portfolio, and we have not heard anything and we are paying you. We are the taxpayers and we're paying you and we're not hearing anything. Have we heard anybody challenging or questioning if there is a branch or arm of the ecclesiastic affairs ministry to represent the divisions who are supposed to benefit from those aspects of the cannabis industry that is under the ministry of ecclesiastic affairs? Because there's no ministry of ecclesiastic affairs on Nevis. So which means the area that deals with the 56 grams for you to get your license to carry your 56 grams on you and your 5 trees, and also if you want to set up a lounge, we don't know in Nevis up to now. So we have not heard anything from anybody, and we ain't hear nobody in Nevis agitating or standing up and speaking out. So this is what I'm saying, Banky. The evidence is there in front of us. We seemingly are allowing this is what? As I said, 2019, this is 2025. You've been paying that minister to deal with that. It is on his portfolio. He is being paid to do nothing. And me and you come and talk about it, and that's it. Only me and you talk about it. Nobody else talking about cannabis. It's over 4 or 5 years. Me and you using last week in every month to focus on the topic of cannabis, and have been trying to bring all of these issues to the public so that also they can be informed of the issues and begin to come together and agitate. But we are not seeing that, and so the government, put yourself in Mr. Eric Evelyn's shoes. If you are supposed to be agitating for something that I really don't like, I don't really want to deal with this thing, and the people who really want it, he ain't doing nothing. Well, in his mind, they don't really care, and nothing that they really so interested in. So why should I be pushing myself if nobody pushing me to do it? And I really don't even want to do it anyway. And that is what we have to deal with right now. So for me, like I said, Banky, the reality come down to the people. So the people in Nevis who are listening to me right now, if you all really want something done, look at it. At 2 years now, music festival have a 420 zone. Up to recently, we just see 5 spliff could go into music festival. Me not hear nobody in Nevis agitating for Culturama. Are we going to have a 420 friendly zone for Culturama? Minister, we see this happening in St. Kitts. What happening in Nevis? How come? Me not hear no agitation. Me not see no. So what is there? What is there to push the minister or push anybody to do anything? Mind, the reality is we shouldn't even have to push them because they've been paid to do it. But I am being realistic, and that is what is happening. And until the people stand up and speak, oh King, me and you, yeah, we can talk and we can continue to try to encourage and motivate and stimulate, but until the people.
That is the purpose of this training, to educate and to bring the information forward. And if you're failing to do your work, because I'm not going to micromanage no minister, so if you're not going to do your work, the most I can ask for is removal of that minister, because it's failing. That's just what it is. If you're not doing your work, a failure, you're failing a virgin. So it's not like the longer you stay to do what you're supposed to do, a failure, fail. You're not doing me no favor. You keep championing the people's rights. Because how can you want to put something forward as the federal government where you can tell your citizens you can have 6 trees, you can get your issue card, and you can have these things, but yet there ain't an office put in place. The office doesn't even have a discussion amongst these things. You don't even have a paper, have an ecclesiastic, have on a paper. Well, this is the farm where you followed. Nothing, not even your staff you have a meeting with. These are disrespectful situations.
And not even the
police is educated. That's
the police them still coming out and harassing people and pulling up people's trees. So this is
what
I'm saying.
Wednesday they went over to Brooklyn in Nevis.
Failing, it's with the masses getting the failure, because the government failing to do what they're supposed to do on our front, and they're failing also to talk to their own people because they don't pass it.
Yes, son. What they are doing is still infringing on the people's rights. They are infringing on the people's right. That's what they're doing. You see what I mean? These things are wrong.
So if the people sit back and take it, what are we to say, Banky? It's like the same thing when you said if you go
yes, man. We ancestors never stop fighting. We ancestors never stop fighting. So I will never stop fight, my brethren. So we're
you
supposed to
use the
step
example
quiet. So
earlier, right?
cancel the show then. So shut down the show
No,
then.
no,
That's what you're saying.
hold
Shut
on,
down the
hold
show.
on.
That's the
No,
whole point.
you use the example earlier, right? And you said
Yes.
if you see yourself go, let's say Antigua or Montserrat, and you want to own
Yes.
one of the
Of course.
historical sites or whatever, right?
Estate, of course.
Okay.
Yes.
What if the government give you? So you say you shouldn't even entertain the talk, but what if you
That's
do
the whole
entertain the
point.
talk? What if you go and they give you?
The people should be upset if the government give me something like that. That's the whole point. Because these things should not happen because they have a conservation area to protect. This area should be protected. This thing
And
is
if the
supposed to happen, my brethren.
people are not upset, what?
So it shows there's some within there, there's some corruption going on within there. Cause why would this yes on this sound like a normal project to you? You hear anything about this project, my brethren? No. This sound like a normal project to you. Good. All right. Fine.
But here the
You
question,
don't hear nothing about
Frankie.
it.
If the people are not upset, if hear what you're saying, you said that they should be
So how you
upset.
not an upset? So how you not an upset?
Well, then, if they're upset, then they are strange people because they show they're upset in a strange way. If sitting back and not speaking out and not saying anything and not doing anything and showing that you're upset.
You know the environment. You know the environment they live in. Unless
No,
yes, son.
that's
Unless
the
a
truth.
church leader, unless a church
Me go up
leader
in the same
or a
environment, Banky.
politician
Me and
in
you go up
move
in
the
the same
agitate, they not
environment. Me and you
agitate.
know like a saw. When me and you go up in the same environment, and me and you know like a saw. Look how we are speak out.
Yes, sir.
Look how we are talk how we mind.
Unless they're a church leader, a political leader lead the sheep to the flock to the waters, they're not gonna go. You see, they're not wired that way. Somebody got to agitate and get them hyped and then stand for them and say, "Oh no, we got." That's how it is, and it is sad. You see, it is very sad. I can't raise my youth them like this, you know. You see what I mean? I gotta teach my youth how to maneuver between a society that's full of vultures because things ain't always how it seem. People drive down Hamilton Mill every day. People live next to Carino. They see the worker go on. You think they see? They're not blind. They see, but they not talk about it.
See a Banky. See where me
But
depend right?
yes,
You see how we talking here, and we saying this ain't happening and that ain't happening. I gonna put up my hand and I gonna make it my business to go look for these guys in these ministries, and I gonna let them know, well, if you ain't want to do it, I put it up my hand. Contract me. Let me go out and do the talking for y'all and the cannabis and help to get these things. Because if you don't want to do it, you don't want to be the front man, I'm going to put myself up as the front man. If I'm Nevis, just give me the work. If they don't give me the work, well, but at least I'm going to try. And me just want to talk about it. Me want to be one of them who going to say, who going to be one who actually take action and take the steps. So, you don't got to close on the show. We're going to continue the show. We're going to continue to agitate. And we will take actions. Just like how Banky, we talked about it, and you took action and you reached out and you reached out to the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley's ministry, and you attempted to get whatever license, and then is when you found out that nothing is happening and nothing is in place yet. And we continue to agitate. We will have a follow-up to that to see if there's any changes. And we just have to continue to do what we can do within our space to help to make it happen. And so I have, since I've been here, began that trail, Banky. Yesterday I ended up in the assistant PS office, and that was a part of the discussion that we had. I've sought to get a meeting with the minister himself. I am awaiting for that appointment, and I would have that discussion. So it is not just about talking, and I'm also going to let them know that I am curious about these things. I'm not just curious, but I'm willing to help as well. So if they really want assistance in terms of moving forward with it, I am putting up my hand.
Which one?
You want to need this?
Which project? Which project?
Cannabis. Anything to do with cannabis. Remember they saying,
okay.
you know, if they want a PR or if they want somebody to be the front post to talk about it and help to, I'm putting up myself. But I also want to know
So
what
I'm,
they're doing right now. So I need
so
to
what happened?
have those.
So up into Indian Castle project, I thought that's where that wasn't a part of the pitch.
Well, when I have that discussion, that will be a part of it,
Or
yes.
you know,
But
or
because
you
we're
didn't.
speaking about it,
I got you.
because we're speaking about
Yes.
cannabis, I just zoom in on that aspect. But yes, when I do meet with him, that will be a part of the discussion as well.
I hear the discussion. I ain't think about ever said the minister still ain't come back and apologize. I mean, encouraging those who coming down and who are here for the festive season to take a drive down Hallins Road and look and go and visit the Indian Castle Food Orchard, and also take a drive up Hamilton by the sugar mill to see what's going on there. And if they are pleased, ask the minister, the area representative, what's going on with this project. Why they're not speaking about it, and why these people have a lease, and why not is if given to a local or the Ministry of Tourism. I mean, this thing don't make no sense, my virgin. This thing don't make no sense. How could you give one somebody all this thing? 6 acres of land. They're farmers up in the same Hamilton Mountain, my virgin. I personally why I was told to measure up this land for these farmers. So hope to know they can't get this land in the name, but you can give people foreigners land in the name and still give them with sugar mill. Well, how much? Well, what these people? Who they related to? So who own it and them a best friend? And why the whole cabinet silent, the whole Ministry of Tourism silent, the whole Conservation Society is silent. Well, they don't know this thing are going up there, so they don't know these things. All right. Indian Castle, the minister was supposed to go down there I mean, he come back and apologize to the people of Nevis for lying openly because people are highly upset about this thing. He still haven't come out and showed the food harvested from that area. The second phase, the material is there already. Some of the material, the wire is there for fencing, irrigation pipes, everything was placed in orders and stuff like that. So why this project can't started? This is the third quarter we are in. So you see, these people are so comfortable lying their teeth off and not being challenged. And when now they've been challenged, they can't come back. And what would the minister come back? How are you going to come and speak about food security when you don't mash up something handed over you in mid condition? When you are the one who handpick the manager and you know the manager don't do no work. How can the manager, who's the chief extension officer, don't do no work, failing, and then expect the young extension officer to take him serious when they say it don't mash up a whole project of articles? And the premier run go and say send baths and jelly water. When they destroying over 3,000 coconut trees, and thousands of other trees have been destroyed, including shaddock, shaddock that every native wants, shaddock, or 40 them plant down there, and more, You see what I mean? Along with other, yes.
As you speak right now, I need a shadow tree. So if you can help me in that
The
regard, that would
one,
be one.
okay.
Yes.
This is my advice to you. Listen to this, how we work out this. Monday morning, right? I want you to take a drive to Indian Castle and go and look for where Shaddock Tree used to exist, and then drive to the whole estate, and you come back and give a report, an honest report, and take videos too, so you can see for yourself, and then they take you to the Shaddock area and stuff like that, and work with people with you too, not go alone, and then you'll see the one or two Shaddock that very with this star, and cut off the cuttings them one time, and then you clone them with some routine hormone. That would be the best advice to you. So I want you to go. So can you do a report where you visit Indian Castle and so you have that's and then we can save them. You see? You see, you're laughing.
So no, I laugh, but I laugh because you give me a task, and I definitely will have to take it up because I have never visited it. I didn't get a chance to visit it when it was in its glory. So
yes.
I because I was overseas at that time, and so I'll get a chance to actually see it now. Whatever it is right now, I could only compare videos in the past, but I'll be able to compare now. But yes, and I to hear that though, and to hear those kind of reports is really sad because Shaddock, to know that you would have gone out of the way to get something like Shaddock and to put
so why there are no one? Yes.
I just want to talk about
so why there is no one speaking on behalf of Indian Castle, 40 acres. The amount of time the whole cabinet and the whole of navies are calm. You know that I keep telling you, I'll stop the Banky farm. I keep saying it. They keep it because I mean the school children, everybody echoing saying because yes, I'm the manager, I'm the one who said it, which I understand where it was coming from. But at the same time, you cannot have people within a system who don't have no love for the environment but don't just want to stay within it and mash it up. So how can you mash up something as a minister of agriculture and as a chief extension officer, senior person, getting paid and gonna mash up something? This thing. So who gonna be held accountable for this? This is all just politics. Because this is the golden trail, this is a bias club thing or whatever the situation is. Cause why nobody talking about this? This is a food, and that is the beautiful thing about it. Because I know everything I've been through with this project, and both sides of the table, both sides, the NRP side who accost me, and the CCM side who praise me. You see, so I understand it beautifully. So that's why I'm waiting
But
for both sides for them to comment. Yes.
I want to switch a little bit, right, from that topic
Yes.
to
Yes.
a little bit of the need for some serious um, integration and synergistic approach between the farmers, the marketing arm, and the agro processing arm. And I am going to use now this culturama, so to speak, as a good example of how they could really demonstrate that marriage. Now, and not just farmers, even average individual, just seeking to use agriculture also as a revenue generator and demonstrate that the agricultural ministry and departments can really be bringing in more revenue to the country overall. Here we have a very unique scenario where the Minister of Culture is also the Minister of Agriculture. And we have a mango season here. And we on Nevis see and know that there are thousands of mangoes that are just wasted. Wasted. Some, are being fed to the pigs, some just drop on the ground and rot. Mango is a high demand, even on the sister island. We ain't even talking about some of the other neighboring islands. On the sister island just next door. We have Culturama coming up. We anticipate the Minister of Culture is promoting culture, and in some cases even neglect agriculture to promote culture. Anticipating these thousands of people, whether they're returning nationals and or visitors, and these returning nationals in some cases will bring home their children and so on. Now, here is the opportunity for them to say, hey, bring in as much mango as you can, we'll take all. We are not just going to pulp. We're going to make, the ice cream. We're going to make suckers. We're going to make, mango roll-ups. We're going to dehydrate mango. We're going to package them. And create the scenario where you could have these you could encourage the agro processors to make these things if you don't want to make them yourself. And or you can make and give them wholesale so that they can then go out and retail during the Culturama season and so on. So a lot of the families coming home, maybe the children mightn't be interested in eating the mango just like that, but they might not have a problem in enjoying a mango ice cream or a mango ice lolly or a mango smoothie or a mango whatever. Why not think along these lines to marry agriculture and culture so that have people go to look tamarind so you can make tamarind bars, guavas are in, seek to make whatever fruits are in, encourage all to bring in. Not okay. Right now, I think I did check out the agro processing, and they're taking mangoes. Right, marketing is also taking, but I think they are choosing some of the mangoes. So I think they're only looking for mostly for specific varieties. But what I'm saying, do something that you can take a lot more of the variety of mangoes that are around, and not just mangoes, fruits when they're in season, and don't turn back anybody. That is what the marketing and agro processing is supposed to be able to do. Let the farmers bring in, give them a set price, and be the real, help them to be the off takers. And when you get it marketing, then you should be able to deal with agro processing and all the other places that you're gonna get them. You shouldn't be
So,
denying the
no,
farmers. Yes,
so when they started taking mangoes, the agro
I don't.
processing,
I
you
don't.
said you said
From what I got, from what I gathered when
huh?
I was there, they have been taken on a regular. I don't know if they were pulping, but they have been taken. And when I was there, I saw people bringing in mangoes.
I'm glad to hear that. You so because that
Yeah,
wasn't happening.
I was there when
So
I
which mean
saw.
this recent list. So
That was
which mean people listening then they're listening. That's the whole
possibly,
point. So
possibly, but
yes.
I
So
would
I'm
have
happy to hear
seen a
that.
list. No, I've seen a list up there of the various different foods that they would take from people and the prices that they're willing to pay. So to some extent, I one of the things I was talking to the person at the desk, I was
Hmm.
asking them how much they do in terms of advertising these things and promoting these things so that people in the community is aware that they take some of these things, like gooseberry and guava and sorrel and
Yes, and
a lot of.
there's NNC and agriculture have a communication office. You see what I mean? They have a communication office where their job is just to talk, 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 talk. So whatever is needed, the information could be disseminated anytime. Video, they have cameras, everything is there. A whole,
Well,
so it's not there's enough stuff to do these things.
well, there should be and there could be, but to some extent, I guess it is obviously not being done or maybe not seen as that significant or important, and maybe they feel doing that would bring on too much people, bringing too much things to them, and they might not be in a position to deal with what they have because to some extent, seemingly that
What
is
you're saying,
part of the.
what you're saying, what you're saying, make no sense. If you're saying, make no sense, can you
No,
advertise you
no,
put up?
no, no. Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. I am coming to that conclusion based on what I am seeing because here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying, Banky. They have the facility. I see the list,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But in
So Lisa
terms
Hyde,
of no, the list is right there in the office in front of you when you go in the office.
yes.
But
So
what I'm
what?
saying is,
But me
in
not,
terms of the
but what about whole
promotion of
home?
it,
I have trees. Well, that's the whole
exactly
point.
that's what I'm saying.
Advertise it stuff.
Promotion of it, I am not certain how much of that is done, and I'm saying maybe part of that is because they're afraid of getting too much on them, which it shouldn't be because it is their
How is
responsibility to be creative
this?
and
This
utilize
is nothing
whatever
new,
they
yes,
have
man.
in the current market. Well, it is
I
nothing
know the
new.
system. I know the system. I know the system within the agriculture department. It's not like I understand it. I spend more time in agro processing than any apart from those who working over there as any other individual within the department. You see what I mean? Apart from the workers them over there, nobody spend more time over there than me.
But Banky,
And the workers will
don't you
tell you
think?
that. So I understand how everything works.
Don't you think cultural armor is here? Don't you think a lot of people would have loved to be able to get some mango roll-ups or some mango ice lolly, mango sucker, tamarind
So why don't you
balls.
ask the minister why this? Why don't you ask the manager, the
So
minister why this thing not
asking,
happening?
here's what I'm doing. I am suggesting that the minister, who is the minister of
Hmm.
culture and agriculture, seek to look at these
Hmm.
things and see how they could marry both so that it is beneficial, so that
These are common
agriculture
sense thing, my
that
brethren. Me not understand.
as much
So
as
they
it
know
is
these
common
things.
sense, hold on, Banky, as much as it
Yes,
is
son.
common
They know these
sense,
things.
it is not being done.
People here
So as
want
common as
jams.
it is,
They want tam on jam. They
it is not
want
being.
grab cheese. They want all these things to take back and souvenirs. This is when they get most of their money. This is a yearly thing. This is not nothing new. This is
That's
not
what
nothing new, my
should be
brethren.
happening. That's what should be happening. Is it really
Now,
like that?
watching.
Is your plans? Do they
Me not pay.
plan to do that? So I am suggesting
You
that
know
these
what?
are things that should be done. So if they're not done, if they're being done, will I clap my hands and say yes? If they are not done, I am
Yes.
suggesting that they be done, so that we can see more local. And in that way, one of the reasons why I'm suggesting that Banky comes down to the spin-offs that I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about, where you can guarantee a person now, bring in the guava, how much ever you have, we're going to give you X amount for it. So now that person now could know well during culture, that this guava crop, he might want a suit to wear for some show, or he might want a ticket to go. He can bring in some guava, he can bring in some mango, he can bring in some whatever. And he makes some money, and the agro processing being able to process the jams and so on, and be able to present to souvenirs and so on.
Most of the guavas, most of the guavas used to come from Indian Castle, Ireland cheese did. When you go for the shadow, you'll see an area, you see a guava patch there. So I tell you how much, and then you have 2 different type of guava cards. Spice guava in a different area. I have the regular guava for the guava cheese, and I have a strawberry guava. Okay, they look pinkish. Tell me how much survive well they at it, and see if we get the guava to go agro processing. All right. The evidence is there now. So I would like the minister to come back and apologize to the people, and to just fade away, because the premier have to help. But the whole cabinet will respond for Indian Castle, but the premier have to come out and take that ministry from his deputy, and so and what's going to be happening to what's their plan for Indian Castle phase 1 and what they plan for phase 2. Because you see, the beautiful thing about nature, you got to take care of it, you see, and to get back down there how it is, they must have a plan in place, and they must have people who have that interest. So there have to be a comprehensive plan. Because you see, one thing Zook like to say, once you don't fail, me not gonna confidence in you, So what he gonna say about him minister and the cabinet that mash up this whole thing? What he gonna say? Because once you fail, he don't want to do with you, So what he gonna say? He can't talk. They can't talk.
The reality is, as you are saying, that this is another thing that is not being talked about. Because even though you're talking about it, it's only us talking about this Indian Castle thing,
what are you going to say? What are you going to say? As a matter of fact, today I had a tour.
The people speaking out. The same people who've been affected, because food security is a real serious crisis. And here you had an opportunity to help in terms of reducing the food import bill and being able to ensure that the people are sustained with a 40-acre project. And this project has turned out to be a dismal failure. And all of these things that you're talking about, however, we have not heard anybody speaking out. We have not even heard anything. I'm not talking from the politicians. I'm talking about from the people on the ground whose money, whose $1 million and plus $1 million plus taxes went into the investment of that project that is now the way it is.
All right. Yeah, son. Right now, we don't pass the 2 hour time, so we're gonna wrap up. Right now, I just want the visitors, those who are visiting the island right now, to take a trip at Hamilton Estate, see what project going on up there, and asking their area representative and those that they put to govern the country, what's going on at the Hamilton Sugar Estate, and what is the intent, why is the tourism department, our ministry, is not taking on this project. This thing don't make any sense. These things should be controlled by our own natives, and the fund goes into our treasury and not leasing this project to no one else who is not native. And why these people have 6 acres of land up in Hamilton Mountain? What is the interest of these people? Also, I want to give thanks to the Wesleyan Holiness Church and Ran Daniel, and he had a summer camp when he come to Bible school, and today was the closing. They visited the farm, Shabazz Organics at Manson's last stop, for a field trip and a fun day in the farm where they learn to play some golf, learn about composting, learn about irrigation system setups and stuff like that, and different techniques of planting watermelon. So I just want to shout them out and give them thanks for choosing my farm. They could have chosen any farm. So I want to, let them know I appreciate that for coming by, and hopefully the kids, which I know the kids them learn a lot. There was one particular kid, youth there, very beautiful youth, a young guy. I think his parents is the Williams in education, but I'm not sure if I know their mom. Brilliant youth, me Virgin. The youth had me busy all day when it come to reasoning, when it come to religion and traveling, and 6 years old, and you'll be amazed. Yeah, so he shows that the kind of shows he watching on the television, his parents and stuff. The kind of, you understand, when it come to state and country, what is a country, what is a state, and all this different stuff. So beautiful verse you up, man. So I know the future is looking bright when you have young children like this. So I want to commend the parents and raising such a brilliant young youth and stuff like that. So I want to give thanks for those who tuning in and keep giving their views and listening to the show continually and stuff like that. Yeah, so next week, looking forward for the continued discussion on the topics, because we don't have no half days in the festive season and stuff like that. So appreciate that. Your mic, your son.
Sorry. As we wrap up, I just want to say that Honorable Eric Evelyn, I'll be coming to look for you for us to have this conversation in relation to what is going on with cannabis and Nevis specifically, because you are the representative on Nevis. And I am also putting up my hand to let you know that I am willing to assist you. So I'm not just coming to inquire, but I'm also coming with the opportunity to assist you if you so desire to help to promote and or organize the cannabis industry going forward on Nevis. Honorable Jeffrey Hanley, the same. I am going to be looking forward to meeting with you so we could have some discussions on the areas that you are supposed to deal with and explain also why you are not dealing with it and what you intend to do going forward. And I also want to inform you that I'm putting up my hands to help you as well. So if you need help in that regards, I am one who's putting up my hands. You can contract me. You can contract my services, and I'm very much willing to work along with you in that regard. And with that, I want to thank everybody for their time and for participating. I really want to give my special thanks to the Real Entertainment Network team. I can't say enough about the commitment and the efforts and hard work that goes on behind the scenes where the Real Entertainment Network team is concerned. And I really want to take my hats to them. And we can't do the show also without those who listen, those who come in, and whether it's the Facebook, the YouTube, or the Twitch TV, and who have made their comments and who call in. We truly appreciate you. If not, we would have been here talking to ourselves. And so we want to say thanks to everybody. See you guys next week, Tuesday, on another edition of the topics. Until then, enough love, everybody, guidance and protection every time. Okay, seeing as if
Run the mic, your son.
our guest is not ready, so until then, until I hear the music in the background, when the music is in the background, I just want to say belated strong greetings to His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, who would have celebrated on the 23rd. We continue celebrating the month as Rastafari month, and so we will continue to have a number of activities and meditations and so on. So yeah, Rastafari live every time. King, I'm waiting for the music. If not, I'll just, in Radio Land, we don't have dead here, so we try to, keep, the screen and everything active until our technical team take us out of here. I didn't get a chance to. I think One Love Rastafari movement would have had a gathering or celebration to commemorate His Imperial Majesty. I think the other organization, Higher Heights, would have had a presentation. I would have seen some video from Ras Reggie. It was Genesis. That's it. That's the Rastafari name. It's always good to have that sort of celebration or commemoration as we continue to empower Rastafari throughout the globe. We couldn't allow that, and I'm hoping that more people would take interest in some of these things and seek to enlighten themselves more in regards to the teachings of Rastafari. Learn more about Marcus Garvey, learn more about His Imperial Majesty and the works that he would have done within the time frame, and the significance to us as a people, and have a better understanding of Rastafari other than just the lax and the idle food and the smoking cannabis and the African, consciousness meditation. So that is how I am going to wrap up as I await our technical team to take us out of here. It really was a pleasure being here with you guys, um, and really being a part of the Everything Agriculture show. Well, let me probably read up some of the comments in the last bit here. We had Gigi Week saying they don't care. What did you say? That's going on up Hamilton. Yes, Banky. Eric blatantly lied at the town hall meeting. They will soon hand over the Indian Castle Archer to a foreigner. Bye. Let's hope not. Let's hope definitely not. Yes, and I okay, all right. The new manager needs to be fired. They say he's a party hack, so they won't do a thing. Cecil Doe says the minister is too busy winding up in the string band to fix whatever is wrong. Um, and those are some of the comments that's coming in at the end of the show while we await our technical team to take us out. Um, we do have an edition of Everything Agriculture every Friday. It used to be a Tuesday show for those who are maybe new to the platform. We used to do Everything Agriculture every Tuesday. Every Tuesday. Excuse me. But we would have made a change or shift I'm sure maybe more than a year back now or thereabout. And we shifted until on Fridays, and then we do the topics every Tuesday. So every Tuesday we get into the topics where we touch on almost everything, a little bit of everything. And the Friday we are more focused on agriculture, and sometimes we do have exclusive interviews that may take us outside of the topic of agriculture, but we always generally try to find some way to tie in some aspect of agriculture or connect it to some agricultural aspect or something somewhere along the line to add that component of it. So we do make it our business to do that. And the last Friday now in the month, we dedicate that show towards the topic of cannabis. And so we are the only platform that's been doing a cannabis show. And we're the only platform also that's been doing an agricultural show on a weekly basis. And so it's two things that we are the only people doing, and we make it our business. Like Banky said, we don't have any cutoff season. So even during the festive season, even during whatever, we do host our show. So even the Culturama is going on, we will have our edition of the topics. Even though Culturama is going on, we will have our Everything Agriculture, even if we have to include some Culturama aspects into the discussions, we will have the discussions. So, you can always look forward to us here on the platform. Remember to hop over to our YouTube platform and like and subscribe and share the YouTube platform. I want to, by the end of this show, everybody who's on this show should now be subscribed members of the YouTube. And if you share, even if you share the YouTube, even if you share the Facebook link, encourage folks to hop over to the YouTube channel and subscribe and become a member. We really want to build the platform over there, especially seeing that a lot of the videos from Facebook are going to be removed in 30 days. And so if you really want to follow up and go back and repeat, some of these shows, you can and will only be able to access them via the YouTube platform. So I would definitely encourage you to go on over to the YouTube platform and like and subscribe there. And it seems as if I am still here live, and I thought by now that our technical team would have been able to get us out of here, but it seems as if that has not happened yet exactly. And so I'm going to try to see if I can find out what's going on that side, to see if my technical assistant fell asleep on me, or maybe he's in the couch and was having a deep meds, and the grades were so high that yeah, this song say, so high so I can meditate, ah, dreams of brighter days, highest grades we blaze, yeah. So giving thanks, giving thanks as the days go by. Yeah, so just waiting on the technical team to get me out of this. Yeah, people. So it's another edition of Everything Agriculture culminating. All right, I see something happening behind the scenes. So then it means that the technical expert should be um, behind there, getting ready to get me out of here. So people, enough love, guidance, and protection. See you guys next week, Tuesday, for another edition of the topics. Okay.